Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to explore processing a little bit and maybe think about kind of what are commands and what are they doing and how do I try to fiddle these apart. I'm not going to spend a lot of time like thinking about data types or exactly the deepest stuff of what's going on. What I'm going to spend time considering is like, if I type a thing into processing and hit go, what does it make? Like should be the like very first, I have no idea what's going on, so I'm just going to fiddle with some stuff, right? So let me start with this stuff. Okay, so someplace I got this idea that I should punch in this. I've got a size 360, 360 with a semicolon here, and then I don't know what's going on with this background thing, but apparently that's gray. Right? So if I hit run, oh god, what I get is a Windows security alert, and eventually, oops, where is it? Come here. This thing. So this little guy is apparently what I got out of typing in that code and hitting go. Cool? Thoughts? What happened? Like, my goal is to explore these two commands. What did they do? Okay, so it seems like the size command opened a new window. And I kind of want a way to make notes in here. You guys see that? The reason I want to make notes in here is like later when I forget what a command does, it would be nice, or forget what a little piece of program that I've got off to the side does. It would be nice if I had written notes in it so that I could know what it was supposed to do. Those notes are called comments, right? And there's a little clue here. How do I get a comment started? That's how you do it in LaTeX, right? So let me try that in here. So if I try a percentage sign, it says, you guys see that this very conveniently says error on, and I didn't have to push go to find that out? Right, so there's some kind of a problem with that percentage sign in this language. So, yeah, it seems like this thing's gray, right? That's what comments do in LaTeX, right? So let me just try, maybe if I ungray that thing. Oh, cool. So if I deleted those, it went ungray, right? That seems like that's indicating that two of these guys is a comment. You guys with me on that? Okay, so let's just see what the background command does while we're here. Oh, that's an ugly color. But what happened? What changed between the first try and the second try? The color changed, right? Okay, so apparently background does something with the color of the, guess what? Background, right? Okay, so this color is apparently a ugly mustard. So the comments I can make so far are something like, apparently this opens a window. And I'm not, don't worry, you're not going to have to watch me. Whoa, why did it do?
You use the backslash instead of the regular slash.
Oh, you guys see what happened? These are wrong slashies. So these slashies are a comment, and the other ones are a disaster. So apparently this opens a window. Like, that's what I learned about that. And what I learned about this one is apparently 204.153.0 is ugly mustard color. You guys see that? What's the deal with the three numbers making a color?
Red, green, blue.
Yeah, those are probably a red, green, blue, right? How would I double check that?
Set all of them to 0.
Set some to 0 and see. So let's do, if we do 0, 0, or, yeah, let's do 204.00 and see what happens. Okay, that seems like the first one's red. And guess what? The other two are green and blue. Cool. Okay, so apparently I've also learned that those are red, comma, green, comma, blue. You guys probably can't read this at all, can you? I don't know. Let's try. Yeah, it turns out they're not in computer science land, but
I could explain that because that was such a big question we researched in the previous time we taken this class.
that's okay. I don't want an explanation.
Oh.
Yeah, so there are going to be a bunch of things that have like really deep explanations, and I'll ask for them later. But right now, apparently it's red, green, and blue. I don't frickin' know why.
It has to do because we're starting at black and working our way to white. We're with red, white. We're yellow, blue. We're starting at white and working our way to black.
Whatever, basically, right? For whatever reason, it's red, green, and blue, and apparently art be damned, right? All right, now that we've also fixed our font size, what else did we learn? So we learned that apparently size makes a new window. We learned that the background command does what? Okay, cool, good talk. What else did we learn? We learned one thing in between there. Maybe that double slashes makes lines or commands turn gray and not execute, right? Like, that's the comment character in this language. That changes depending on which language you're in. Right? Okay, what else did we learn about the background command? I think we learned that it takes some variables and makes them into the background. So here's the comments I wrote when I was fiddling with the background command. I wrote this stuff. So remember our first day we did just one command in the background? You guys probably don't remember that. Let's try, what if I just fed the background one number instead of 3? Would it work? What would it default to? Yeah, probably would be a grayscale, right? So let's just check that. Oh yeah, so my background turned white, right? Okay, so apparently what I know is that it takes 1 or maybe 3 variables. If there's 1 variable, it's grayscale. If there's 3, it's red, green, and blue. And then I actually wasn't sure exactly how it worked. So let me pull up what I thought. I just said, okay, I'm going to take a Chrome window. Oh god, of course it giantized. And I'm just going to go, I don't know what the background command does. I'm having trouble with it. Let me do my usual. So I'm just going to Google the command that I'm looking for in the word processing. And then what I'm going to end up with is this API is the first place you want to look. That's the documentation for the language itself. So if you click on that, you'll get this whole page about the background command, right? So there's a background command. Here's a couple examples, right? Like there's a grayscale example. Here's a colored example. That still has that kind of horrible, ugly mustard. I have no idea how to get this image thing to work, but apparently you can type that in and get an image to load as the background file, right? I just haven't learned how to do anything with images yet. And then we've got some syntax about, like, okay, so it can take a red, green, blue. It can apparently also take a red, green, blue, and an alpha, whatever the heck that is. How would I find out what an alpha is? Yeah, I could plug in some numbers. I tried that for a while and I couldn't figure it out. That's what actually brought me here. Yeah, that's a good idea. It says it right here. It's a float, apparently, and it's the opacity of, right? The opaqueness of the background. In other words, if you draw other stuff on it, right, it's how much the background takes precedence. I have no idea still. You're going to find things you don't know. That's okay. If you want to fall down an API, you know, like a wiki hole, right? Like, keep clicking on things or Googling little bits and bobs you find in these. Eventually, you will learn all of a language doing that, or at least you will have read all of a language. You maybe won't know how any of it still works, right? but you will at least have read a lot of it.
A float is a number with a decimal or a fraction.
Yeah, and again, that's one of those things like, too far for today. I don't know what a float is. That's fine. I still also don't know how to put an image in the background, but I do know that it could be done. You guys see that? So that's what I've learned from looking at this reference. And a lot of the time in my code, if I pull something from somewhere, like if you go steal something from Stack Exchange, it would be a really good idea to put in the comments where you got that thing, so that later if it breaks, you can go look at the thing again. Does that make sense? Or if you're trying to do something a little different with it, it's nice to have those resources listed. Cool? Questions about background? No? Cool. Good plan. Alright, so let's fiddle with this size command a little bit and see if we can figure out some stuff about what it does. Thoughts? Yeah, it's X and Y are height and width. It's something about the size of the window, right? So let me figure out which one's height. So I'm going to make this one something, right? Just pick something and hit compile and see what happens. What happened to the window? Got wider, right? So now I have kind of a justification for me thinking that's probably width, comma, height. Is with that? Okay, so let me confirm that suspicion. Let me see what I can do to break this thing. What would be problems in here, you think? Let's try 0 first, and then we'll try a negative number. Yeah. But I thought my shape was white before. Wasn't it white before? You guys see that?
It's the line itself that's...
Yeah, I think it's actually the line itself that's being generated. So, I don't know whether it's defaulting to 1 or something. Let's try a negative number. It'll be... Okay. Also, defaulting to something, maybe? You guys see that? So, I'd like to know whether there's actually something there that I could draw on, right? But I don't remember how to draw on anything, so I guess we'll just fiddle with it in the next one. You guys cool? Okay, so apparently they're width height, and I could add another comment here. What did I just discover? Yeah, there's like some weird defaulting if 0 or negative. Does that kind of make sense? Does it make sense that there should be weird defaulting? Probably. It should either do some weird defaulting or kick an error at you, right? You guys see that? Okay. So, these are the things I learned about sizing, comments, and background, right? Because we learned some stuff, I would recommend that you do this. File, save this thing somewhere. And so, I'm just saving it in my examples as, let's see, what did I learn about? I learned about size, background, and comments. Okay, and I'm just saving that in my processing folder. You might make a new folder, or you might save it in the examples or something. Cool? Anytime you make a little program that does anything at all that was a success at all, save it with good comments and a nice, meaningful file name. That way you've got examples to go back to when things break later.